But at this point in time, and I've been thinking about this since the Mill Creek, I'm not interested in supporting anything more until we do get an agreement with the state agencies that anything we do get a banked credit for. Because when we started off on that program, it wasn't supposed to be any county dollars. It was all supposed to be federal and state dollars, no local match. And we got away from that, and we ended up with that local match, and I bit my tongue and I went along with it. But no more from my support until we get credit ahead for whatever these types of things come up. Because we've made a lot of improvements, opened up miles and miles and miles of habitat. And the state says, thanks, but now we're going to extract and extort, and I like that one better, 40 grand from you. To me, that's not right. So, Mr. Chairman, since there doesn't seem to be any more input, then I'd make the recommended motion.
I'll second the comment, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. There is a motion and a second before us. Any further discussion in regards to staff report or anything like that?
Just a question. Even though it's not on our agenda today, this delay in the $1 million to the STIP that filters through MCOG, will you come back to this board with a strategy? We don't want that funding delay to delay the project. So would you come back to this board maybe with some options that we have or something, I guess you call it, for lack of a better word, creating financing or something to bridge that gap or something?
Well, if I could, we're here, and I can just, I think, in a few minutes, really give us what our options are. The fact is that once Caltrans goes in very specific phases. There's PE, preliminary engineering, and environmental, which is the phase we're in now, that is funded and allocated by the CTC. I might add early allocation that we asked for, and we're able to get that going. Right-of-way's been delayed, and anything we spend in right-of-way until the CTC approves it, we can't be reimbursed for. I confirmed that with Caltrans yesterday. You were there, Supervisor Pinches. The only option we really have is that if there has been some concern expressed by the certain board members over a lot of projects, that we have one right-of-way agent in the county and that's very limited what they can get done. It is possible the board could consider, say, a part-time second right-of-way agent. If we had a staff person on county staff, that's a fairly reasonable expense that the county could simply, and we do this anyway on projects, use our own staff to try to advance some of the right-of-way issues so we're better prepared to move ahead on this and many other projects we have going where right-of-way is a thing. But as far as hiring extra consultants or spending a lot of cash, it wouldn't be reimbursable. So short of, say, a little more county staff capacity, I really don't think, I don't really think we can spend money on right-of-way because, like was said by Caltrans yesterday, it's not reimbursable.
Well, and that's the point I want to make. And I realize this project's been on the books for 11 years now, and we want to make it go. But if we move ahead of getting the money from the STIP, then it's going to be a county expense, not reimbursable. And so it's probably, to move this and get this environmental work done, it's probably prudent to go as far as we can and then wait till we get the funding. And that way, there'll be no county dollars involved. If we push it forward now, it's going to be all county expense that's not even reimbursable. So I want to bring that point up.
Right.
So it's, and I realize, I think I'm just as impatient with this project as anybody sitting here on this board, but I also realize that, there's a considerable savings to the county to wait until, and I believe that the construction season, the good bidding process and getting the bids in cheaper, I believe that's probably going to be here for next 2 or 3 years. If I thought it was going to, if the cost was going to outrun that savings, then I'd say, well, maybe we need to scrape up the money and move forward. But I think that the positive bids coming in is going to hold for the next year or so. So anyways, I just want to say that.
Supervisor Dober?
After the vote, sir.
Okay. I have a couple comments. I'm concerned about the length of time this has taken to reconstruct a long-standing piece of pavement in this county. I'm concerned, and I would like to offer the comment that the bids, to my colleague to my left, might not last a year when you take a look at the size of the disaster in China that just took place and how they're going to suck up the concrete, the mortar, the steel that we saw 2 to 3 years ago. The size of that disaster, I think, will make an impact on our bidding process. So I want to see this project move forward, and I'm going to be voting for it. So just a comment more than anything else. Any additional comments in regards to the motion? Okay, I'll close the public hearing at this time and call for the vote on the motion. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously for adoption of the negative declaration.
Mr. Chair.
Supervisor, and Howard, don't run away, you're up next.
Oh.
Supervisor Dober.
Are you going to do his director's report?
Yes. Yes.
Go ahead, because I have a comment on the director's report.
Okay, so I'd like to move to item 7A before we adjourn or recess for lunch. Department of Transportation Director's report.
So I'm on.
Yes.
As the board knows, I typically submit my report in writing. I presume you've had a chance to look at